Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Bastian, CTO at SCTE. I want to welcome you to Cable-Tec Expo 2023 in beautiful Denver, Colorado. I'm joined this afternoon with Tom McLaughlin, CEO of AMT. Tom and I go back quite a ways through different jobs, and I'm just really happy to be interviewing Tom this afternoon. So Tom, you've recently started as a CTO at AMT. Can you tell us what's been new since you took over, what's new in the product portfolio?
Yeah, so I mean, traditionally AMT has been really heavily focused on CPE devices. That's been kind of the primary business, and it was always targeted at the tier 2, tier 3 operators. We continue to kind of focus on that market segment, but what I've done since I've been here is focus a lot more on infrastructure products. You know, the evolution that's happening in the HFC side with DOCSIS 4.0 and Remote PHY and all those technologies, but as well FTTH. So we now have added in the last year a complete line of FTTH products, both all the way from the active start of the OLT all the way through the passive part of the network, all the way to the subscriber's home. So that's really it's just adding the new capabilities to the organization that are going to kind of take us into the future.
So I understand in that vein there's been some recent acquisitions in the coax cable, drop connectors. Can you talk a little bit about that, about the recent acquisitions?
Yeah, so one of the things that we've been trying to do is fill out the portfolio with things that are actually in need. And one of the things that we found was kind of surprising to me. It was all of the coax passive material, like the connectors, the hardline connectors, the drop connectors, the jumpers. As people are going through and upgrading their plants to mid-split or high-split, there's a tremendous need for these products. And so there's only one player in the market traditionally. For the last few years, it's been PPC. We brought on PCT. They've kind of recovered from what they went through, and the market has been very receptive, including the tier 1 operators, where we're now actually fulfilling the PCT product into the tier 1 operators as well as the rest of the market. So that's been shocking to me. We've also added things like Viavi test meters and things, all the other types of equipment that you need to run an FTTH network. Those are things that were opportunistic that we brought on because we saw a need in the marketplace.
So AMT had great year-over-year growth. Can you talk a little bit about what's contributed to that growth up until this point and how you envision sustaining that growth going forward?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the growth was really a carryover from COVID. We are a stocking distributor, and we have a lot of inventory typically. We actually do a good job forecasting for the market. And when COVID hit, we had actually products for our customers. And I think that really is what drove the growth year over year. Now what we're faced with is we need to add infrastructure products to the market, to our capabilities. And the other thing that we've added is professional services. And so, to the tier 2, tier 3 operators where we focus mostly, being able to actually consult the customer on the technology decisions, provide them the technology, and then help them install and deploy the technology both inside plant and construct their networks is really where we're going to be growing the company. That's really what the opportunity is for us moving forward. And then if you take into consideration what's going to happen with BEAD funding coming out and all the new operators that are going to come, we've even added a really comprehensive training module that goes on the tail end of this kind of end-to-end one-stop shop kind of taking people from the decision and what they do from an architecture perspective, helping them do all the walkout design, deployment, and then all training of the technicians, because a lot of these companies aren't in telecom today, and we think it's going to be very important to lead them with the skill sets in their operations.
So AMT was one of the first companies to distribute Plume platform with OpenSync technology, and then CommScope also incorporates OpenSync technology in their devices. Can you summarize a little bit about what OpenSync benefits there are for the customers?
Yeah, so Plume, I think everybody understands the value proposition of Plume. It's a great in-home Wi-Fi experience. It's solved a lot of pain points and given a lot of data to operators that are trying to improve the performance. What OpenSync does is it allows actually, if you think about, you always have to have a device that starts this thing off that actually demarks DOCSIS or FTTH. And when you have OpenSync as a capability to put on a non-Plume specific device, it actually allows you to have one Wi-Fi access point that's supporting this network that's already kind of part of the network that you have to purchase. So it saves you quite a bit of money. Could be $50 to $100 a home, just having OpenSync on that gateway and operating in that Plume environment. So I think that's really what it is, a lot of people move either to a two-box solution and then they have a separate gateway. That adds cost to the situation. But if you have take a CommScope, DG6415, and it's OpenSync capable, your first device is already part of the Plume network, and you don't have to buy another Plume device for that. So it does save you a lot of money, and it allows you to use, in many cases, the other benefit is a lot of people have already deployed these devices, and now if you go to a Plume or another solution that has some kind of Wi-Fi management, you already have a primary device in your home that you can now support in the Plume environment. So it's really, I think it's a better use of the capital of the operator, and it can save them money on a per home basis.
So I'm going to shift a little bit now to the distributed access architecture, DAA,
Yeah.
and it's very present on the floor here. It's in a lot of the papers and a lot of the booths. Can you comment a little bit on how it's going to scale into the tier 2 and the tier 3 markets?
Yeah, it's the DAA solves a lot of problems. First of all, it drives the connectivity further to the edge, and that was kind of the first principle to get more bandwidth to subscribers. Digital optics then come into play where you don't have to use analog optics. That's a cost savings, a very significant motivator to go to DAA. But now with what we're seeing is, you have new builds or new markets that you want to go that are actually can be served from that node. With the new DAA solutions that all of these guys have come up with, you can put the OLT right there alongside of your remote MAC-PHY or your remote PHY DOCSIS solution, and then you can run fiber to the new neighborhood that you want to cover. So I think it seems like what Harmonic in particular has come up with is just a beautiful transition solution for people that have been in HFC but that want to go FTTH for greenfield, but it happens to be adjacent to their existing service. They don't have to run fiber out as far. They can use the existing fiber, the digital optics they have, put an OLT in there, and they can actually run fiber where they want selectively. And I think that's huge. I know that our old CTO, Tom Clunan, used to talk about DOCSIS can live for so long, right? The issue is being able to peel off the real high-end users that want 5 gig symmetrical circuit or 10 gig symmetrical circuit. You don't need to overbuild your entire network with FTTH. With these DAA solutions that they have now that are quite elegant, you can put OLT in the node adjacent to remote PHY, and I think it's a great solution. In particular, Harmonic's solution I think is extremely elegant, with the Cable OS also doing both of those things. There's one integration point, so you don't have the same problems of, what am I going to do about my provisioning system? You do one integration and you get XGS-PON and DOCSIS 3.1 or DOCSIS 4.0 in the same node. So I think it's an excellent technology to help kind of bridge the gap between FTTH and HFC and allow people to selectively go out and provide HFC or FTTH to areas of the market that they want to.
So we're right across the aisle here from the AMT booth. How's traffic been today, and what are the customers most curious about, asking questions about?
Yeah, so traffic has been excellent. We appreciate you guys putting this on. It's been a phenomenal show for us. I would say that there's a lot of interest in actually professional services, believe it or not. We do some very unique things. We have a very unique solution. We've partnered with a startup out of MIT that is around AI, and they weren't in this space, they weren't thinking about this space, but when we started to talk to them, we found out that there might be a nice application. So what we've done is we've taken their AI capability and we've taught them about FTTH and HFC design. And what they can do in a greenfield space is we can use drones and LiDAR to actually map out the place, collect the data, and then it goes into this AI model that they now kind of purpose-built around FTTH and HFC design. And they understand the Bentleys and the other design tools, what they need to actually output to be the front end into those solutions. So we can actually execute FTTH design and HFC design through this methodology. But what it does most importantly is the data set that you get out of it is so rich that when our customers that use this go to their permitting, when they go to get the permits for the build, a lot of times what the permitting office will have to do is they'll go out and actually walk and double check the design that they've been given. Well, with the data set that we can provide, the permitting offices get everything that they need right
so
then.
Much faster
we're actually
turnaround.
We're seeing a 30% improvement in time to build through a benefit to the permitting office. And that's been huge, and that's been a big topic for us right now because that's the first step in building a network, is getting a good design done. So that's been unusually important for us, and there's a big need for construction,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As we all know, that's a long pull. So we're getting a lot of traction there. And I would say the third thing is, the remote PHY stuff. We have harmonic in our booth, we have CommScope in there. We're showing both. You can use, the good thing is that they've architected these things so you don't have to replace the nodes that you have in place. These things are retrofit, so there's not a lot of cutting out of nodes. So I'd say that's the third biggest thing that we're getting is a lot of remote PHY and remote OLT type discussions.
So before you know it, we're here at Expo 2023. Before you know it, we're going to be sitting here in Expo 2024. What do you think the major topics will be a year from now? Do you think they'll be the same and it's just for further evolution, or do you think there'll be new ones on the radar?
I think it's going to be a lot around execution of FTTH builds.
Okay.
Execution being the type of thing I just talked about. There's going to be a lot of innovation in that space. This is the first time it's been done, and the reception that I see when I go talk to even tier 1 operators and I tell them this, their eyes open up. When I've talked to government agencies about this, their eyes open up. So I think we're going to start to see, a lot of discussion around what do we do about the workforce, which I know you guys are working on aggressively, and how do you replace the workforce? So I think we're going to see a lot of things about how do we get these networks built, because there's going to be a lot of work in the next 5 to 6 years, whether it be from tier 1s picking up BEAD money or other cable operators or new entrants into the marketplace. But it's all going to be about how do we execute the network. And then, all the rest of the stuff continued. How do we evolve the Wi-Fi network in the home, make it smarter? That'll continue to be a pain point for consumers, so it'll be something that the industry needs to continue to talk about aggressively. We're seeing a lot of Wi-Fi 7 here at the show. Who knows what that brings in the next show? There'll be an iteration on that or some other innovation that happens. But I think getting the networks built is going to be, there's going to be a lot of people trying to show solutions for that.
Yeah, the workforce and getting them to train, it's a big issue now with all the money coming in for the builds. We're going to see a ton of builds over the next 12 months, and having that manpower to harness to get the builds completed, it's going to be a big challenge for the overall industry.
Yep.
Anything else you want to summarize about what you're looking to see in Expo this week?
I think just the traffic and the conversations is always what's good. I haven't had a chance to walk around, but I will do that at some point. I'm interested to see if there's something new, in the operations side, in the OSS/BSS side. The other thing that I think that we're going to start to see is you're going to see I think you'll see some disruptive things come out in the video side. I think, we still don't have all the problems solved when it comes to streaming IP video. I know that there's a lot of things like, what Comcast is doing with Zumo, and there's solutions like that, but I don't think it solves all the issues. I think there's going to be some disruptive things that happen in the video space to kind of take it to that, maybe virtual set-top type space, embedded in TVs, that type of thing. We need to clean that thing. We need to clean that video piece up. People don't make a lot of money on video, as you know. It's really about advertising, and we need to be smarter as an industry about advertising, because that's really how our customers are going to monetize one of the big assets they've had in their portfolio since the beginning, what they've built their businesses on. So, yeah, I'm interested to see if that's around here now. But I'll figure that out when I walk around. But so far, the show's been outstanding,
awesome
as always, and it's great to see old friends and see the industry come together again. It's exciting times.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate you taking the time to interview this afternoon. It's great seeing you. We go back years, and just look forward to enjoy the rest of the show and see you in the next couple of months.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.